Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cardman's Cards. I'm the Cardman. Today we're going to be going over something very scary with claws. Scareclaw. This is a link-focused deck. It is towers-oriented due to the fact that their big boss monster is a towers. And in addition to that, it ties into the Visas Starfrost lore, or the planets, I guess you could refer to it. It is very combo-oriented, and you can run a very variable amount of things. This ties into the Visa, as I said earlier. I always want to call him Visas. Visa Starfrost, Tier Elements, Kashtira, and Manadimium. I can't pronounce that one right. Over the course of the next month or month and a half, however long it takes, I plan to go over all the Visa decks, show them off. So we're going to start with my personal favorite, Scareclaw. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to go ahead and start with the Heart monster. All the Visa archetypes, they all have a Heart in-deck monster as a level 4 warrior that has 15/21. It is a staple of all of them. They will all have one, in addition to all of them having a field spell. That's a staple for all of these decks. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have Scareclaw Reichheart. He is a level 4 Dark Warrior, 15/21. He is a 3-of. You can summon this card from your hand to your main monster zone adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control, or in its column. You can only summon Scareclaw Reichheart once per turn this way. If this card is no more special summon, you can add one Scareclaw Spell/Trip from your deck to your hand, and then if 3 more defensive monsters are on the field, draw a card. So this is a very good card starter. This is a 1-card starter. If you open him, you have full combo leading into your big boss monster, while also opening any other interaction or combo pieces. Very good card. Easy way to draw more cards. Additional fun fact, all of the Scareclaw cards are based off of fears. I forget the overall extent of them, but I do remember do believe like Reichheart is meant to be like Fear Heart or something like that, and the actual Scareclaw monsters themselves are based off different fears. So we have, it's a 3-of. Then we have Scareclaw Acro. He's a level 3 Earth Beast. You can summon this card from your hand to a main monster zone. You're adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control, or in its column. You can only summon Scareclaw Acro once per turn. You can use your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zone gain 300 attack and defense. Sorry, 300 attack for each defensive monster you control. So this allows you to gain 300 attack for each one that you control if he's on the field. He gives your Scareclaw monsters that's in the EMZ that effect. Acro is the fear of heights due to his big wings, and he's Acro. He's high above. Acro is a 3-of, and in addition to that, he is 0/2000. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he is. We're going to move on to the next one, which is Scareclaw Belone, a level 3 Earth Beast, 0/17. You summon this card from your hand to your main monster zone adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control, or in its column. You can only summon a Scareclaw Belone once per turn this way. If your Scareclaw monster in the EMZ attacks a position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. So this inflicts pierce, which is ironic because Belone is based off the fear of needles, due to the giant needles. I do believe their names make more sense in the Japanese translations. I do believe, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what they're based off of. Belone is also a 3-of. You're running 3 of most of the Scareclaw cards, except the Kashtira Scareclaw card, which we'll go over here shortly. So that's an additional 3-of. And we have the last of the level 3s, which is Scareclaw Astra, level 3 Earth Beast, 0/13. Summon this card from your hand to a main monster zone adjacent to a Scareclaw monster you control, or in its column. You can summon Scareclaw Astra once per turn this way. Your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zone can attack number of times each battle phase up to the number of defense position Scareclaw monsters you control with different names. So, This allows you to attack several times with your EMZ monsters, depending on the number of Scareclaws you have, which is 5 individual extra deck in-deck monsters that can be put in defense. So you can attack up to 5 times, depending on how your board is, because you have the 3 of the Earth Beasts, Astra, Acro, and Belone, on top of Reichheart, and then the Kashtira Scareclaw. So that's 5 different names that can apply for this effect. So let's go. Astra is also a 3 of, just to make sure that's mentioned. We'll go ahead and jump down to Scareclaw Kashtira. This is the corrupted variant of their big fusion. This is not incorporating Reichheart. This is just incorporating the 3 beasties. And it's mutated. This is Scareclaw Kashtira. It's a level 7, as most Kashtira cards are. It is a Earth Psychic. It splices between the two, because all the Kashtira cards are Psychic. But the Scareclaws, the actual Scareclaw beasts themselves, are Earth. So that ties into that. It is 0-2K, so defense-oriented like the other ones. During the main phase, quick effect to summon this card from your hand. If you do, banish one Kashtira or Scareclaw card from your hand or grave. Use this effect of Scareclaw Kashtira once per turn. This card can attack when in defense position. If it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. So it is a super heavy samurai for that effect. The effect of your opponent's monsters that was involved in the battle with your Kashtira or Scareclaw monsters this turn, while those cards face up on the field, are negated. So this basically gives an entire blanket negation for the entire battle phase, because they are attack, and most of your Scareclaw monsters are going to be on the field. Scareclaw Kashtira is a 2 of, due to the fact that he's not necessarily easily summonable as the other ones, but still just as effective as the other 3. So now we're going to move on to the next chunk of cards. These are just link support in general. Not necessarily have to be with Scareclaw, but they are very helpful. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. We have 3 Formud Skipper. It is a level 1 light Cyberse effect monster, 0/0. During your main phase, you can reveal 1 link monster in your extra deck. And if you do, when you link summon this turn, you can treat this card as a link material with the same type attribute as the revealed monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can add 1 level 5 or higher Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. You'll use each effect of Formud Skipper once per turn. So this basically allows you to duplicate any monster in the extra deck. So this basically can become anything. So you just reveal it, becomes that. And then when it's linked summoned, you can grab level 5 or higher Cyberse, which incorporates the next card. Which is, we have 3 Paralleled Exceed. It's a level 8 Wind Cyberse, 2K. If this card is so summoned by the effect of Parallel Exceed, its level becomes 4 and the original attack and defense become half. You can only use each effect of the following effect of Parallel Exceed once per turn. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to the zone that this monster points to. This card is one more special summon. You can special summon Parallel Exceed from your deck. So this basically allows you to get 2 copies on the field with this guy, giving you a guaranteed 2 more extra bodies or a rank 4, if you're so inclined. This works really well with Formud Skipper, and interesting enough, with a certain Baguska, because the link monster of a Scareclaw locks everything in defense position anyways. So if you make Scareclaw a Tri-Heart and Baguska, your opponent can't really do anything, because they're just kind of locked into nothing, because Baguska negates their effects anyways, which is hilarious. So basically opening Formud Skipper or an Exceed basically is guaranteed improved lock on your opponent, which is nuts. We're going to go ahead on, that is it for the overall main cards. We have some hand traps that we're running before we get to the spells. So we have 3 Nibiru, the Primal being. If opponent no more special summons 5 or more times, quick effect, you contribute as many phase-up monsters on the field as possible. If you do summon this card from the hand, special summon 1 Primal being token, rock, light, level 11, attack 0, defense 0. To your opponent's field, this token's attack and defense become the combined original attack and defense of the attributed monsters. This effect of Nibiru the Primal being once per turn. So this allows you to summon Nibiru to your field while giving your opponent a token, while sending all other cards, all face-up monsters to the grave, and then the token gets the combined stats of the card sent. But what's really great with Nibiru is one of the cards we'll go over here shortly. You can just get stupid massive. You can get gigantic, especially if you nib your opponent when they have a full board of high-level monsters, and you just target the token with an additional card, and you just make your big guy just get even bigger. Nibiru is a 3-of. He is 3k 6. He is a rock level 11 light. I'm not sure if I mentioned his stats, by the way. We're going to move on to the next hand trap, which is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It is a level 3 fire zombie tuner. It is 0/18. If your opponent adds, sends, or summons from deck, discard this card and negate that effect. So anything doing with the deck just outright negates. Other than placing. If the card places itself or places from deck, Ash will not work. And we have 2 Ghost Belle and Haunted Mansion. If your opponent adds from grave, summons from grave, or banishes from grave, discard the card and negate that effect. There's certain cards that Belle can't hit, but a good card that's similar to Belle, Skullmeister, can, because Skullmeister just negates in grave, not anything from grave. But yeah, so just some hand traps to play around the board. You can definitely change the hand traps as much as you like. The only hand trap I would definitely recommend you play in general is the Nibiru. Just for the solid fact that Nibiru is super helpful. It makes breaking your opponent's board very easily and getting an OTK off early turn. It's just very helpful. We're going to go ahead and jump into the spells. They have a good handful of spells on top of their own field spell. So let's go ahead and move on to them. First off, we're going to go over their field spell, which is a 3-of, which is Primitive Planet Reichphobia, which I do believe is like the phobia of fear, or something like that. It's a fear or phobia oriented. I forget the exact ramifications of the translation. I could be wrong. But it is a field spell. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost from your deck to your hand. Monster your opponent controls lose 1,000. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each defensive monster on the field. You can, if 3 or more defensive monsters are on the field, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You use this effect of Primitive Planet Reichphobia once per turn. You can activate 1 Primitive Planet Reichphobia once per turn. So on activation, it's an add, and then it's a continuous stat drop for each defense position monster on the field, period. And if there's 3 or more, it's a target pop. So very good, very helpful. Especially all the field spells for the Visa lore decks are really good. All of them. That is an easy 3-of. You don't necessarily need the field spell due to the fact that there's an in-deck searcher. So you don't need it. You don't need terraforming for this. And then we have Scareclaw Arrival. This is a 2-of. You can easily run as a 3-of if you're so inclined. It's just not necessarily as needed. It is a normal spell. You can target 1 Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost in the graveyard. Special summon it to in defense position. A Scareclaw Link monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Instead, you can only use this effect of Scareclaw Arrival once per turn. So the summon effect is not once per turn. So you can summon as many as you want if you have multiple. In addition to that, the protection effect, or the replacement effect, is once per turn, though. And we're going to go ahead and jump on to some 1-ofs. We have 1 Scareclaw Straddle. It's a quick effect spell. You can activate one of the following effects. Target 1 Scareclaw monster you control, or Visas Starfrost monster you control in your monster zone. And target 1 face-up monster opponent controls. Your monster gains the attack and defense of equal to the opponent's monster's attack and or defense, whichever is higher. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost, negate that effect. You can only activate 1 Scareclaw Straddle per turn. So this is target protection. In addition to that, this is the card I was talking about earlier with Nibiru. You can target the token from Nibiru and target your Link monster, and it has to gain the attack due to the fact that it doesn't have a defense stat, so it can only gain attack. And then it just gets huge. On top of the field spell, allows you to pop the token before you even commence battle. So you can basically just completely benefit off of Nibiru while your opponent just suffers. Because you can get rid of the token, you can get an attack increase. You basically, if you get Nibiru and you can full combo, your opponent basically loses due to the fact of Straddle. Because Straddle just makes him game ending. So, Straddle's just really good. It's also good, it's a quick effect. It's just a one-off. You can run it as a 1 or 2 of in the side if you would like. I just feel 1 because it's easily searchable. You don't necessarily have to dig for it because his Reichheart can grab it really easily. But it's inherently good. And we have a continuous spell, Scareclaw Defanging. Your opponent cannot target Scareclaw and Link monsters or Visas Starfrost you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Banish any monster destroyed by battle with a Scareclaw Link monster or Visas Starfrost. You control, you can banish 1 Scareclaw Link monster from your field or graveyard and target one card your opponent controls. Destroy it. You can only use this effect of Scareclaw Defanging once per turn. So it is an inherent target protection for your extra deck monsters, which is great. In addition to that, it is oh good lord, what's that card? D-Bear? No, D-Pitcher. For any monster that's attacked by a Scareclaw monster, which is most of them. In addition to that, it is a pop. So you have 2 in-deck ways of just destroying cards, which is very helpful. Again, you can run more of this if you want to see it more often, but again, it is searchable. You don't necessarily have to run it as multiple. You can, you don't have to. We're going to go ahead and jump to the next one, which is Called by the Grave, our Lord and Savior. This card's amazing. It does not need to exist, but it does, and I'm so glad it does. It's a quick play spell. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Banish it, and if you do, till the end of the next turn, its effects are negated as well as the activated effects and effects in the field of the monsters with your original name. So it's a negate for 2 whole turns, and I said I'm going to continue using this example until fire decks are no longer good. If your opponent activates Fire King Ponyx on your turn to add back to hand, called by, banish it. Doesn't resolve. Now when they go to their turn and they normal summon Ponyx, does not do anything. It's just a dead card. So very good. And it's understandably why it's at 1. Really good. And then we have 1 reinforcement of the army. It's just an additional copy of Reichheart. It's just running a 4th one, as he's the only warrior in the deck. And yeah, reinforcement army just searches a level 4 lower warrior monster from deck to hand. So it's just running an additional copy. It's just easier seeing another Reichheart. That's all it really is for. We're going to go ahead and jump into the traps. Scareclaw has technically 3 traps. I do not run one of them. It's not inherently bad. It's just not inherently good. It's good for certain situations, but not overall good. You can definitely run it in the side if you're so inclined, but you necessarily do not have to. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and jump onto the first trap, which is Scareclaw Sclash. It's a continuous trap. Once per turn, you can target 1 Scareclaw monster of Visas Starfrost you control. It can attack while in a phase of defense position this turn. If it does, it applies attack or defense, whichever is higher for damage calculation. When your opponent activates a card or effect where you control a Scareclaw monster in the EMZ, you can send this card, face-up card to the graveyard and negate that effect. And if you do, you can only use the effect of this effect of Scareclaw Sclash once per turn. So it is a Omni Negate. It's an Omni Negate. An in-deck Omni Negate that's searchable, that allows you just to negate stuff. Very good. Go ahead and jump to the next one, which is Scareclaw Twinsaw. It is a normal trap. Tribute 1 Scareclaw monster, then target 2 cards your opponent controls. Destroy them, and if you control Visas Starfrost, banish those destroyed cards instead of sending them to the graveyard. If link 3 or higher monsters on the field, you can banish this card from the graveyard for the rest of the turn. Neither player can activate the effects of link monsters on the field. You can only activate 1 Scareclaw Twinsaw per turn. So, this is Sword Soul Blackout. It's just Blackout for Scareclaw. It's really good. It's pop 1, then pop 2. This deck can technically pop like 5 cards in a turn, which is hilarious. But yeah, it's really helpful. in addition to the banish effect, is good. The additional trap does something similar to the banish effect. It's not the greatest effect, but it's still good. But yeah, so that is the other Scareclaw trap. And the last trap in the deck is just infinite impermanence. It's just target negation. Target opponent's card your opponent controls, monster opponent controls, negate it, and this card was set the turn you activate it. The spell and trap zone in the same column as it is negated for the rest of the turn, if it was set. That is a 3 of, by the way, 3 imperm. So you're running overall, like, was it 3, 6, 9? Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Roughly 11 hand traps. Technically 12 if you count called by. You don't have to. I do. It's just a point of interaction. Let's go ahead and jump on into the extra deck. As you can see, most of the extra deck are Link monsters, due to the fact this is a very Link-oriented deck. You can definitely run more Ixies if you're so inclined, because the deck does spam out monsters pretty easily. Let's go ahead and jump onto it. First off, we have Scareclaw Lightheart, not Leichheart. He's not like a heart. No, it's Lightheart. He's a Link 1 Dark Beast Warrior. Link 500 attack. His requirements are 1 Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost. For this card's Link summon, you can only use monsters in the main monster zone. As material, if this card is Link summoned from in the EMZ, you can add 1 permanent planet Reichphobia from deck to the hand. You control 1 Visas Starfrost, summon this card from your graveyard, but this affects only once per duel. So if you want to run Visa or Visa Samsara, or whatever that guy's name is, it's a level 4 Visa card. It's a tuner. It's more effective in Vanadium than it is in this. It counts as Visa. So you can technically summon this back and get another free body. You don't have to, though. But yeah, so it is a field spell, grab. On top of the Visa, it is a free body. And it's a Link 1, so it's easily summonable. As all your cards are just, hey, Lightheart. We have, it is a 3 of. It's a, you can easily play this as a 2 of if you want to run other extra deck cards. And we have 3 Scareclaw Tri-Heart. It's a Dark Beast Warrior. Link. 3k attack. 3 effect monsters, so it's generic, which is great. Must be Link summoned. All face-up monsters on the field are changed to defense position. Unaffected by activated effects, defense position monsters on the field. Once per turn, if this card's in the EMZ, you can target 1 level 3 Scareclaw monster in the graveyard. Let's summon it. If you do, add 1 Scareclaw monster from deck to your hand. All can also summon monsters the rest of the turn, except Scareclaw monsters. So, if you're going to use this effect, do it be the last thing you do, or the last different monster you're going to summon. Due to the fact that it locks you into Scareclaw, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, this card is great, especially in decks that can basically board up their bodies that they can't really interact with. Very good card. It's an annoying tower to deal with just because your opponent can't really do anything against it unless they go into Link monsters. But again, with Twinsaw, you can just blow them up before they can Link summon, which is amazing. Yeah, this is a easy 3 of. You can definitely run less. It's up to you. Go ahead and jump into, we have 1 IP Masquerena, just for the solid fact of quick linking into your Phoenix or Unicorn to pop stuff on their summon. Only reason you run IP. You can run SP in here as well, if you're so inclined. I really haven't updated the deck for an SP, but again, SP is expensive, so not inclined to have to run it. But IP is a Link 2 Dark Cyberse, 800 attack. Materials are 2 non-Link monsters. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after effect resolves. Link summon 1 Link monster using materials you control, including this card. This effective IP Masquerena once per turn. A Link monster that uses this card as material cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effect. So it gives the monster its summoned protection, while also allowing you to summon on your opponent's turn. So this is easy, just, hey, target spin on your opponent's turn. Good card. IP is a very good card. Go ahead and jump into the next ones. We have 1 Aussa, the Earth Charmer, and Immovable. You can definitely drop the Charmers. They're not necessary. I just inherently like to use them because a lot of hand traps are across the board different attributes. This is helpful because a lot of your main deck monsters are Earth. It's a Link 2 Earth Spellcaster 1850, as most of the Charmer cards are. 2 monsters, including an Earth monster, which is not hard. This is always treated as a friendly and possessed card. Target 1 Earth monster, your opponent's grave, special summon it. The zone this card points to. If this link summoned card is destroyed by battle or card effect, destroyed by battle, or destroyed by opponent's card effect while it's in an monster zone, you can add 1 Earth monster 1500 to add 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, which is a handful. I do believe that course is, I think the only one that's applicable is to Astra, which is fine because he's like the better one to grab because he gives the multi-attack. But yeah, that effect is not necessarily needed, but it's just good to rip a card from your opponent's grave to, again, go into Unicorn or Phoenix or whatever you're so inclined to do. And then we have 1 the Dharc Charmer, Gloomy, because again, we do run a few Dharc monsters. Similar effect, it's a Link 2 Spellcaster, Dharc, 1850, again, Charmer stats. 2 monsters, including a Dharc monster. It's always treated as a familiar possessed card. You can target 1 Dharc monster in your opponent's grave, special summon it to the zone this card points to. This link summon card destroyed by battle or destroyed by opponent's card effect, and while it's owned in a monster zone. You can add 1 Dharc monster, 1500 less or defense, which grabs you nothing, because nothing in this deck has that low stats. That's a Dharc monster. That does nothing. Sadly, but yeah, it does nothing. If it was attack, yeah, you could grab Visa. You can grab Reichheart with that, but unfortunately you cannot because it is defense. Sadly. And then we have the 2 Nightmares. We have Knightmare Phoenix, which is a Link to Fire Fiend 900. 2 monsters with different names. If this card is Link summoned, you can discard 1 card, target 1 spell / trap. When it controls, destroy it. And this card was code linked while this effect was activated. Draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Knightmare Phoenix once per turn. Which is great, because if you do this on your opponent's turn, you can draw a card, because Tri-Heart's arrows just point directly down. So, cool. Free draw card. But yeah, and then we have Knightmare Unicorn, which is a Link 3 Dharc Fiend, 22. Materials are 2+ monsters with different names, so generic. This card is Link Summon. You can discard 1 card and target 1 card on the field. Shuffle it into the deck. Then, if this card is code linked, when this effect was activated, you can draw 1 card. You can only use the effect of Knightmare Unicorn once per turn this way. While any code linked Nightmare card is on the field, for your normal draw, in your draw phase, draw 1 card for each different card among those code linked Nightmare monsters instead of drawing just 1 card. So, if you have Unicorn and Phoenix on top of Tri-Heart, you can technically draw 2. Because Unicorn and Phoenix are both co-linked. But that's it. Good effect. We move on to my personal tech pick of choice, which is weird. Tri-Brigade, Chirrug the Ominous Omen, level Link 4 Dharc Wing Beast, 3k. 2+ Beast Warrior to Wing Beast monsters. Also, yeah, this deck does work kind of well with the Tri-Brigade engine, if you would like to try to do that. I tried it, wasn't great. There's a way to improve on it. That'd be cool to hear. But I definitely did like running this, for the fact that it is, when this card is special summoned, or a Beast Warrior, which is several, when Beast monster is a special summon to your field, you can banish 1 card on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand, whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monsters. You can only use each effect of Tri-Brigade Chirrug, Ominous Omen, once per turn. And you don't summon this guy a lot, but the times it does come up, it is super helpful. Because legit, all you really need is Tri-Heart and another name, and you got Chirrug. Just, haha, go away. Which is terrific. Non-target banish. Go away. Very helpful. I definitely find it is very, very helpful, because basically, any combination of your names just makes it. But yeah. Again, you do not have to run Chirrug the Ominous Omen. I do personally, because I find it interesting that you can use it effectively in this list. And we move on to the Ixie monsters in the deck. We have number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. For the sole fact, because if you make this early, you can not be nipped. Because this deck summons a lot. It's easy nip proof. It is a rank 3 wind spellcaster. It's an Ixie. 1026. Materials are 2 level 3 monsters. Once per turn, your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect. You can detach one material from this card. The activated effect becomes each player draws a card. You can target one other number XC monster you control. Attach this card to it as material. Transfer material to that monster. You can use its effect of number 75 Bamboozling Gotham Shadow once per turn. But yeah, it just makes you draw a card instead of the effect. So it's helpful because you run 3s. Then we have number 3, Cicada King, rank 3, Wind Insect, 12/25. If the battle position of this card changes, you can summon one insect monster from your hand or grave in a defense position, which you're never going to do. When a monster on the field activates effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card and target one monster on the field. Target that monster on negate its effects. Then make one insect monster on the field either gain 500 attack or to change defense position. Change its battle position. Good lord. Use each effective number 3 Cicada King once per turn. So it just gets bigger. Just haha, big beat stick. But yeah, you can use this as a monster negate on top of the other effect of Gotham Shadow. So just negation. And then the pièce de résistance, the card that makes people hate this deck, due to the fact that if you get this out with your Link monster, no one can really do crap. Number 41, Baguska, the Tiley Terror Tapir. Rank 4, Earth Fiend, ironically, Ixie, 21/2K. 2 level 4 monsters. Ornaments material. Once per turn, during the standby phase, detach one material from this card. If you cannot destroy it, the attack position card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effect. We're not going to target this attack position card with card effects. While this card is face up defense position, change all face up monsters on the field to defense position. Also negate the activated effects of monsters that were in defense position when the effect was activated. So, it's just a big negate on top of Tri-Heart, already locking them. So double lock. Ooh, scary. But yeah, it just overall increases the quality of the lock from Tri-Heart, as Tri-Heart's overall unaffected, and then Baguska just locks him inherently, which is funny. But yeah, I do believe that is everything for this. Any options, side deck options, things you would try for this deck, anything of that nature, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will put a typed deck list in the description of the video, just so if you don't want to quickly glance at this, because I know sometimes it's hard to see if you're looking at your phone or something. I'll leave that in the description for you with quantities and all that jazz in the description, so it's easier to read if you're on the go or on a mobile device. And until next time, this is the Cardman's Cards. I'm the Cardman. This has been Scareclaw. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Keep collecting. Bye.